Welcome back to The Next Revolution, live from Los Angeles with the California primary less than 2 days away. The left are talking about the Californization of America, arguing that the Golden State should be a model for the rest of the country. Is that a promise or a threat? Tonight, we debate whether America should want to be more like California by examining in detail the record of the outgoing governor, Jerry Brown. We'll be looking at all the big issues: immigration, the economy and budget, and poverty in our special debate, which includes a former governor of the state, as we ask, is Jerry Brown killing California? You can join in at home. Please send us your thoughts at NextRevFNC and at Steve Hilton X. We'll feature some of them later in the debate. Now, let's start with immigration. Here's Anita Vogel with the facts.
Well, hi there, Steve. In the ongoing debate over immigration in this country, there's really no question California has become ground zero. The Public Policy Institute says there are 11 million undocumented immigrants in the U.S., more than 2 million of them in California. That's 6% of the state's population. Nearly 1 in 10 California workers, according to research, is an undocumented immigrant. Last year, Governor Jerry Brown declared California the first sanctuary state in the nation. So what does that mean? Depending on the jurisdiction, among other things, it limits federal authorities from deporting accused and oftentimes convicted criminals. It prohibits sharing information between local law enforcement and federal authorities on immigration and potentially other crimes. And it protects illegal immigrants from being asked about their immigration status. Now, the Justice Department is suing the state, alleging obstruction of federal immigration enforcement. 21 cities and 2 counties are also voicing opposition to the law, either with friend of the court briefs, resolutions, or individual lawsuits. So what is the cost to California to harbor so many illegal immigrants? A whopping $23 billion a year. And now there is currently an effort underway in California to become the first state to offer full health coverage to undocumented adults, potentially costing California taxpayers an additional $250 million. Steve.
Thanks, Anita. Okay, let's get the debate underway. With me tonight, Fox News contributor Tomi Lahren, California congressional candidate Republican Antonio Sabato Jr., California Congressman Democrat Brad Sherman, and former California Governor Democrat Gray Davis. Antonio, let's start with you.
Yes,
this
sir.
immigration issue, it's got to be top of many people's concerns here in
Absolutely.
the state. It also feels like for Democrats, this is the heart of the resistance against Donald Trump. They want to export this to the rest of the country. What does that mean?
Well, let's talk about, there's a difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. I came here legally in 1985 in search for a better future, and I did it legally. So now if you're here illegally, that's against federal law. So basically it's against our Constitution. So we shouldn't be allowing people to come here illegally and take advantage of us, American citizens. We're paying taxes every single day. And the Democrats on the other side always want to sell this, they want to sell a car with no engine, pretty much. And this has got to stop, and it's going to end this November.
This sanctuary state position that Governor Brown has set out seems to be a real shift from when he presented himself as a reasonable, moderate Democrat. Feels like he's completely pandering to his base on this issue, isn't he?
No, it's Donald Trump who's pandering to his base, splitting up families that have been here for 20 and 30 years. Naturally,
President Obama did that too with the deportations, if that's what you're talking about.
President Obama pushed for, what we need is comprehensive immigration reform.
Agreed.
A lot of Republicans have signed the discharge petition to force Ryan to do what he doesn't want to do, and that's bring comprehensive immigration to the floor. And if that happens, we'll have a reasonable settlement to all this. And instead, we flan the flavors. We say that immigrants are rapists and murderers, and that's exactly what he said. He said there were 3 categories.
Wait, one at a time. One at a time. Just though, how can any reasonable person? So let's just ask the question this way, right? I understand the argument about not using the criminal justice system to penalize responsible people who are here doing a good job, even if they're illegally. I get that the priority should be criminals. But there's no prioritization for Democrats. They're not allowing cooperation even for sex offenders and violent criminals. How do you defend that?
First of all, we deport those and aid in the deporting of those who've been convicted of serious crimes. But second, if we get comprehensive immigration reform, we won't have to have this discussion. It's Republicans who have refused to allow us to debate it on the floor. And when they sign the discharge petition, when they destroy the bottleneck, when they rise up against their own leadership, we'll solve this problem.
Tomi.
And again, I'm happy that you brought up the issue of compassion, because at what point in the state of California or in the United States of America as a whole do we start having compassion for everyday legal Americans that bust their butt day in and day out? Where's the compassion for those folks? Because priority number one in California for Democrats is illegal immigrants. How do you explain that to people like me, people like Antonio, and those that are out there trying to make a living?
I'd like to get the
why do you define our priority?
Governor Davis in on this one.
Well, first, let's take a step back. Look what immigrants did in 2017, according to the Fortune 500 report. Almost 50% of the businesses in that report were started by immigrants or the children of immigrants. And you look at the top 35, 57% of those were started by immigrants. Or
I don't think,
I'm just saying.
I don't think anyone is challenging
immigrants
that. None of the people are challenging that, including the president. What they're challenging
but we need to look
is
at
the
both sides of the
illegality
ledger
that's involved in forbidding the law enforcement from cooperating over people who are here illegally.
Jerry Brown's insisted that 800 crimes be written into this new law so that local law enforcement must comply with federal requests on any serious violent crime. 800 crimes. So are there a few exceptions that you can complain about? Maybe. But this is a fair compromise. Remember, the state has one obligation: to reduce crime. To get crime solved, you need immigrants telling you who did it, and I'll be a witness. Okay. If they don't participate, crime doesn't go down.
Do you see this as a crime, this sanctuary state, sanctuary city policy as a crime reduction?
The liberal socialists in Sacramento, they call themselves Democrats now, but they're not. They're socialists. Have run the state into the ground for 30 years. So you can blame it on the Republicans all you want.
Immigration, though.
Immigration alone. Now, how come we can't allow ICE to come in and take care of business in our state? They're not allowed. We are a sanctuary state. I can't believe we were talking about this. We got to be a sanctuary country for the American people once and for all. We're talking about immigrants. We're talking about everybody else but Americans. Americans pay taxes. Americans want to go back to work. We got to start protecting the American people.
Okay, Congressman, I totally hear your point about the need for reform. But my question is, in the absence of that, you can't just throw everything up and say, well, let's just make a point against President Trump and thumb our nose at him, and at the same time put communities in danger, because you're
when you
not
provide for the deportation of those convicted of 800 different crimes, you are not putting communities at risk.
But what happened in Oakland? With that mayor, Libby Schaaf?
She made an announcement when they were coming after families who hadn't been convicted of anything, breaking them apart, having American citizen kids without their parents, and she said no to that. But once we get comprehensive immigration reform, then California will fully cooperate. Why are we trying to fan the flames of disagreement when what we need is comprehensive immigration reform?
I think the reason because a lot of people are upset about what's going on, right?
I hear this comprehensive immigration reform time and time again from the Republicans and the Democrats. We can all agree that we need it. However, with Republicans, at least Trump supporters, most of us believe that that begins with border enforcement. And the Democrats have told us time and time again, we don't want a wall, we don't want border enforcement, we don't want mechanisms that work. We want to protect DACA, we want to protect dreamers, we want to protect families. What about the border? What about legal Americans?
Last word. I just want to ask you a very specific question, sorry, just at the end, because we're running out of time. This is a big question that everyone's so concerned about, which is illegal. It's not about legal immigration. It's about America's built on immigrants. We get that. Illegal immigration. Are you happy with the level of illegal immigration in California today?
I would like to see none of it. But let me show you the progress that has been made. In the 1990s...
How can you support Brown?
I'm giving these statistics. In the 1990s, 2.4 million people crossed into California illegally. In the first 10 years of this century, 1.8 million. The last 10 years, 750,000. So this problem is going down. Plus, the majority of those immigrants in the last 7 years have been from Southeast Asia. Not
but
Mexico.
The costs are going up. I mean, if you look, we're out of time.
The problem is solving itself.
Hang on a second. Do you know how much? The biggest expenditure for the state of California is what? It's Medicaid, right? Do you know what?
No, education.
That's not correct, actually.
Yeah, we're number 42 out of 50 states in education. Listen.
No. I'm talking about the amount of the spending of that budget. And just to take one example of how much this is a problem that affects every taxpayer in California, do you know how much of that budget, for example, with births in hospital, is now devoted to illegal immigrants who shouldn't be here according to the law?
Absolutely. I don't know the answer to that, but I want to tell you one thing.
Well, take a guess. I'm asking you to take a guess.
I have no idea. But
let me talk about taxpayers for a second.
Hang on,
let's talk about taxpayers.
Please, this is when it gets to the real detail. Do you know how much of the state's health budget is spent proportionally on births for the children of illegal immigrants?
What I do know is
Do you
that
know
we
the answer to
increased the burden of debt.
Do you know the answer to that question?
I don't. Do you know the answer to
I
what
think
is
it sounds like a no, and you're pontificating.
No. Why won't you
about all
answer
this?
my question? And
because
that is,
I'm the host of the show, and I asked you a question which you clearly don't know the answer
They
to.
won't never
I'll tell
answer the question.
I'll tell the
Let me
audience
give
the
you the
answer.
30
Hang on a
years.
second.
That's
I'll
why.
tell the audience the answer. It's a third. It's 29%. It's nearly 30% of the budget of California's biggest expenditure going on the children of people who shouldn't be here. That's the problem, and no one's dealing with it as far as I can make out. Sorry.